So usual, we'll bring a geo. This time I'm gonna make everything organized. So I created a geo called abstract, and always look at your reference or what you are trying to achieve. Okay, and suppose you are looking for something like this, and you could see that it's a plane geometry, right? So you bring a geometry grid, so you have a plane, and now what you want to get is that you need to extrude everything, right, based on the color. Okay, so last time I showed you the color node. If you bring the color node, you could not see any import file. It's like if you want to import any JPEG, you don't have any option here. So in that case, I have two images that I wanted to import. So I will go to the folder and go to the texture, and I will paste them. Okay, so I have two images, this one and this one I imported. You can get this same image from Unsplash. This is a good website. So you could type, flower or something, you can get this, see, by Sharon Pitaway, right? So I downloaded this one. You can get the same, and I pasted here to our project, and I wanted to bring that here, right? I cannot bring using color node. So we have another node, which is called attribute from map. So if I right click, go to attribute, then you can see attribute from map. So what exactly it does is, if you want to see what does this attribute, what does this node does, then you can hover over, go to the parameter, and if you click the helpline, you can see the information about attribute from map. So it says that attribute map operates create a point attribute from the color information. Okay, so likewise, you can, if you have any doubt on any node, you can just click over here to the help, and then you get the information about that node, right? So very helpful in some cases. Okay, and so what does this does is, if I click here, you can see a color applying already. So why is it so blur? That's because the amount of resolution is very low. Okay, so I'll get the techniques that I showed you last time. So see, the helpful of now, if I keep it 100, both will be 100. So now you could see it's more visible, right? As you increase, you get more visible with the texture. So now you can see the numbers are all inverted. Like if you go down, perfect, up, wrong. So you can fix that here. If you go in image setting, because we want to do the settings we want to change the settings for the image, right? So go to the image settings and try whichever works. Okay, whichever works. I think invert U makes everything perfect. Okay, so go to image settings and invert. That's it, to invert it. For now, I will decrease the rows and columns so that the system runs a little bit faster. Okay, so I go here, then you can see there is a texture map. Even here you can see there's a point group. So in here also it's said that it creates a point attribute from a color. So basically this node affects to the point attribute. Okay, so the color is giving to the point, not the primitive. All right, so you can select your image. So again, if you haven't created a project, then if you click here, it's gonna go to the random, maybe to the Windows or maybe desktop. But since we created a project, and if I click here, then I get the directory straight away. So for now, in order to show you some techniques, I'm getting this image, right, in our thing. So I have this, there is like what I'm trying to explain here is like RGB and white and black. So what happens exactly, that's what I want to show you. The effect we are looking is based on PolyExtrude, and each polygon have separated, right? So it is all individual. So we know that there is an option called PolyExtrude to PolyExtrude, and we also know that if we come up here, there is a connected component, but in here you can see it all are not connected, it's individual. So we click on the individual, and if we go, nothing happens, everything extruded, because we haven't said what to extrude, like color. We need to extrude the color, right, based on the color. So that is where, you know, attribute plays a great role. You know, when you have any custom, so right now we have a custom, right, like we need to extrude based on the color. Okay, so that is custom. So when something comes custom, then think about attribute, right? Here, if we, in the last class I showed you to bring distance, if you go local control, this is where, you know, this is where you can control, right? So distance is the one we need to control, and Z scale is the one. Z scale is like default attribute name. If you want, you can change. But before that, what I wanted to explain is that we have a color here. So middle mouse, we have a color here. So how can we bring it to the PolyExtrude? And if you notice, this CD is in point attribute, but we know that PolyExtrude need face or edge, otherwise polygon or primitive. PolyExtrude need primitive. So we have point attribute in the CD, and we need to change CD from point to primitive, right? Don't worry, there is an attribute called attribute promote. So what does this do? Exactly what the name says. Right now this is yellow because we haven't taken any original group. So like what, so first thing they're asking is like original name. So what do you want it to promote? So I want CD which is in the point class, and I want it to promote to primitive. Now you can see that CD from point attribute is promoted to primitive attribute. Now we know, yes, we can do something with the PolyExtrude, because we have primitive group right now, primitive group. Okay, so that we can manipulate in the PolyExtrude. So if I type here CD, because the attribute is CD, wow, you see it is working. And also if you can, it is individual. So if you go, I'll go very low to show you what is happening. Okay, so everything is working, color is working, and individual element is working. Okay, but so how come both the red and white are extruded? I have an answer for that. So if you come up here, you can see we promoted the CD from point to primitive, isn't it? So let's go up here, and you can see here the CD here, you can see, click here so that you get this high to low and low to high. So you see here everything is 1, isn't it? So that is why actually it's taking. So you did not get that, right? Okay, so I'll explain more. So distance have one channel, isn't it? Distance have one channel, and the distance scale, the attribute we are bringing, is it is CD. So CD is 3 vector. Okay, but this local attribute is multiplying with the distance. That's what happening, right? If you hover over, you can see that it is multiplying the extrusion distance by the value of the attribute. So the value of attribute CD into the distance. That's what happening. Okay, so cd has 3 vector, of course, 3 vector, but since this has only 1 vector, it is multiplying from one of the cd vector. So it has 3, but it is taking the first one of the cd vector, which is, of course, you guys know, cd.r is the first vector of color. So that is why red is extruding along with the white. Of course, one is white, isn't it? 111 is a white, so white also. So that is why red and white both are extruded. So how can you control the blue and the green one? All right. I have an answer for that. So it is customization, right? So when it is custom, then think about attribute. That's my formula. Okay, so we need to create a custom attribute because we need to bring the blue or green. So we click there, we plug it there, just keep it as a side, okay, because we're not using this anymore. So I create an attribute. You can name any, because I'm creating my own attribute. You can give your name if you want, whatever. And also, you know that it only takes primitive and edges, or faces and edges, of course. So it has to be primitive, and in the value, if you put 1, okay, so this 1 is going to multiply here. Okay, so I click there, a, so a is 1 now, and 1 is 1 into 1, 1. So that is happening. But we want the value in the attribute to be from the color, anything. Okay, so from the color. So then cd at is for attribute, like we are bringing the expression cd, and if you click dot, then you can individually select the vector. It's like you can select r or g or b. Okay, same way. So here we are using color, but in some cases you can also put position p dot x or y or z. You can do that, but right now we are handling color. So cd, okay, cd dot r, or okay, let's bring the blue. Okay, p. Wow, voila. Yeah, right. So this is how you bring according to the color, right? So dot and whatever value will get that vector for you. Okay, so the dot is they are hardly used except in the vector places, like when you want to bring the vector. So when I say vector, again I'm saying, I know you will forget, so this is 3 and position is also 3. So position 3 float, so 3 means xyz. So x, if you want to bring x, p dot x, if you want to bring y, p dot y, and p dot z. And you cannot bring white. So white, is 111, and the value of black is 000. So with this method, you cannot bring white separately or black separately. You have to either come out from the RGB mode. It has to be 2 color, black or white. Then only you can control white and black separately. That I'm going to show you maybe when talking about attribute noise or noise. We haven't reached that part yet. So in the noise, I will explain how to play with black and white. Right, so I'll delete all of them, and we will bring a new picture. So I go up here and I'll bring the picture and wait for it. Yes, so you have the picture right now, and you can see this is the color is in the point attribute, so that's why this shading happening, the fade out happening? Because it is trying to catch the point and distributing the color, trying to catch the point, distribute the color, and it hasn't reached at this point, so it is not distributing anything. Okay, so that is so. But if you want to get the high resolution, of course you can go up here and increase it, so you get clear picture. See, now much more clear, right? So you can go higher, but higher the value, size will also increase it. So this is like 14 MB, and if I keep it 200, and it will be what, 3 MB. So size increases. All right, then you have to keep your computer configuration in your mind. Will it handle or not? But in this project, you don't have to worry about your system, because it's not that heavy. It doesn't go 100 MB and 200 MB, so you're good. So this technique is quite available in YouTube, right? So but in the YouTube, I don't think they explain it very carefully, like, wow, step by step. They just bring the attribute all of a sudden and stuff. So I don't want to do that. I want to explain each one. So what I'm trying to say is this tutorial is easily available on internet. It is not necessary to have a UV for this grid, because what we are after is abstract on a grid, right? So UV project is not that needed. Even without UV project you can do it. So I'm not going to use UV project for this because it's a simple picture. Okay, so then next one, what I want to bring is, so our goal is to extrude primitives based on color, isn't it? So based on color, of course. Then think about attribute create. Attribute create. Okay, bring attribute create, and this time I'm not naming anything, only after the PolyExtrude. So this is the main tool you need to get these effects, and it's individual, because each polygon is extruding separately, so individual. And then we are using the name which as a default given in the PolyExtrude. Okay, and Control C copy, because you have to make sure the spellings are right, and I don't want to mess with that stupid thing. So I always copy paste it so that the spellings are right. And of course polygon is primitive, so primitive, and we are bringing color, so cd dot whatever color you would like to, so b, and it is trying to multiply, but the value is 0. So whatever the cd.b is, so which is cd.b, this one, so whatever this value is, so 1 everything, so it has all different values. We are trying to multiply this value into of a particular polygon or faces, because we are using PolyExtrude, so of course it's a primitive. So z scale, which is this attribute we created, so which means it is color B, which is this, is multiplying, so each value, so 1, so wherever in the viewport, wherever this particular primitive is, it is going to multiply with the value that we are giving. So if we are giving distance 0.5, then 0.5 into 1, then that particular polygon will extrude 0.5. And there are if you go down, you can see maybe 0.03 value. Right now we are viewing the higher the value first and the lower the down. So if you go down, you can see 0.03. So 0.03, whatever the polygon is, whichever the polygon has 0.03 color, 0.03 point color, so that's gonna be increasing the extruding, that's going to extrude 0.03 into 0.5. so probably it will be this big. So you will have that thing here. So you have different extrusion happening based on color, okay. So that is what happening inside all of this. Okay, so let's see about that. I'll bring 0.5, boom. You see, every white is one, right? White is one value, we know that. So one, you see all the white is one and it is all the same because 1 into 0.5, right? So all of these has a different color value. So we know that the black part or the dark part, in the color configuration, the dark part will be like, if it is pure black, then it will be 0 0 0. Okay, and so we are taking only the cd.b, right? So of course, in the B channel, the value will be black, so 0. So this one, okay, so this one is the blue value, right? RGB 0. So it is multiplying it, so it's getting on 0 into 0.5, so it is down. And whatever high value, it's like maybe, the light color, you can see the light color, right? So light color, that it could be in the range of, it's almost 1, the bright colors, I mean the light color or bright color. But the dark color, it will be 0, almost it is dropping to 0. So 0, then the extrusion will be very small. Okay, so if you can notice, all the dark part will be very small size and the light part will be up, right? So likewise, you can play around and see what your image looks like when puts G. So you can see G, all the green part are up. So if you put R, I'll show you, the red part are very less, isn't it? So if you put R, then see, so you can play around and get a beautiful extrusion based on your picture. And what can you add in this picture to make it a little more? Will be, you can bring, of course, you can bring the front group and bring a bevel. Just an option, and bring a bevel, and you bring that group. Yeah, that way. Right now it is happening, but it doesn't have a division. So you see 1 2 3. Yeah, so play with a good range of value. Right now I think it's too much, I'm giving too much, but play around. You can bring poly bevel. It's all big, I guess. See, it's taking, so it's taking most of the part. So play around, you can add, that's what I'm saying, if you want to play. And also what you can do is there is not only in the extrude node, there is not only one local attribute, there are other 3. Don't worry about this one. Other 3, you can also add that attribute over here. In one attribute node, you can bring multiple number of attributions. So all you have to do is plus plus plus, and you have, so wait, yeah, so there are 4 attributes, so you can give them a name. So I don't want to mess with the name, so what I always do is just press that, copy paste it and take the primitive, because we are dealing with the primitive, and whatever value you want to give. So you can give a value. So you see here value, it can be a number or a, you know, based on color. That's what I told you until now. So you can use any of that, cd.g, and you can also, so right now you won't see any change because this is trying to multiply with this value, so which doesn't make sense. So I will give 0001 value, because I know Inset is very sensitive. You see, very sensitive, they're very sensitive. So you can give a value of that, and since we gave is in the G, so you can see it is only happening in the G thing, G thing. So if I come up here and change the value to 6, you can see some changes happening here, but not in the red or other value. So I'll bring it, I'll give you a closer look, right? So yeah, you see here how the inset is happening, but you see here it has more inset. See, inset, look here. So this is good example. So inset here, but in the red, very low, because we are giving we are making multiplication, we are giving the value from the G, so red doesn't affect. Okay, so likewise you can bring and you can also do multiple. You can bring one attribute and make a PolyExtrude, and in that again you can bring another, you know, you create attribute, create, and so it's getting slower because too many things happening. So you can bring another, you know, value, something like a take the group, take the PolyExtrude group, and again you can give a different, you know, play multiple times. Whatever I showed you in the previous classes, use that, you know, utilize that method and try to bring a different approach. One more thing I wanted to add, other than, you know, playing with the attribute, is a simple thing, which is, you know, you can see the plane is very, the grid or the plane is very flat, and if you want to make some little bit of noise, this noise node, which is called mountain, so which you can find it in the manipulate right here. So you can see here, so it is best practiced you know, after grid. So this mountain is a noise builder, very friendly, very useful in many times. This is very useful for quick work, but when it comes to advanced, this noise node doesn't help you that much, but for a basic user this is really good. This noise is really good, and if you come up here you can see it is, you know, it is happening to the point group, right? It's happening to the point group, which means it applies to the point. I'll just show you quickly. All right, you bring a group. Okay, so I just want to show this is in primitive right now, and bounding region, I will size this up. Okay, so you have this part has your selection, and I'll bring that group here. Nothing happens because what I'm trying to do is that wherever this selection is, that's where the noise should happen, but nothing happens because it only recognized. They should have showed a you know, error here, but no error. I don't know for what reason, but as if you go up here, you can see it is a point group, so you need to change to point group, then yes, you can have that, right? But in this method, I don't want to show I don't have any particular thing to select, but you can use that technique if you want. All artistic way, all the freedoms with you, right? So no group, I canceled it, and I want very I just wanted to show you this exists. Okay, this node exists. That's why I brought this, and I don't want this thing to happen, because look at here. My picture will be having extrusion happening this side, right? So I don't want that to happen. So I will make it very slight noise. You know, play with it. Height is height. You know. Okay, and element size is they are trying to you know, make the size of the element, which I'll show you what is that. So this node has a ability, or I don't know what else to say, is that if you move your grid, if you move a grid, you can see the pattern changes. You see here. I'll bring it more distortion, and now if I move it, if I move my grid, you see we are not taking, it's like it's like an overlay, right? It is on top, and we cannot move the noise with our object, isn't it? That's because this node mountain is you know, 3D spaced. So noise is already there in this 3D space, and as you move your grid, it is taking that position, it is taking that point displacement. Okay, so displacement is this one, so this is point displacement. Okay, this is point displacement. You can hover over and see which apply displacement. So that's what. But what if you wanted to move it, you know, with you? Then you bring the transform after. Okay, don't bring before, because then the data will taking. So right now you can move it, the way you want, wherever you want. Okay, so that's it about mounting. It's a cool node, and don't drop that node after. So I'll just show you what will happen. Yeah, I have just a small noise. Okay, very light and slight. Okay, so now if I view it from here, I'm deleting the bevel because it's lagging a little bit. So I'll watch from create attribute. No, from there I'll watch from the PolyExtrude. All right, so you see a little bit of shape. It is going left and right. Some the faces are facing a little bit of you know, towards north and east and west and everywhere except south. Okay, yeah, you can clearly see this. Like, see, insect is happening to the white, which is one, but not the red. Okay, right now it's very visible. So if you bring mountain after, then you can see it's gonna apply to all of the points. The displacement happens all points. Yeah, see, a mess. You come up here, yeah, mess. It's a mess because it is trying to displace the points. Okay, which we already have too much points, and it is trying to displace that. Okay, so good practice is bring the mountain node over here, right, and press L so that you get an arrangement, auto arrangement or layout, whatever you can call it. And one more thing that I want to say is that it need not to be, you know, you don't have to create every attribute in one. You can keep this as a one attribute in one node, and you can bring another attribute create to bring the other new to bring the new attribute create. Okay, if you are adding any new attribute, so that way the best thing is that way you have all the. So right now it's like it is written here, but yeah, it's up to you. I showed you like two methods. So one method is, you know, over here you can add as many attribute create as you want, or bring it manually. So that's it about the cool method. The rest is your artistic way and artistic approach on how you wanted to achieve your effects. So I'll prepare right now. This doesn't look good, so I will take my time to get a good one, and I'll be back.